As the internet develops rapidly in the 21st century, we will easily have access to many sources of information related to new mysteries. We often hear about UFOs, about round flying saucers that appeared suddenly in the sky with a strange light. But have you ever heard of alien corpses? In the late 1990s, the quiet isolation of Kalinov, a small and remote village in Russia, suddenly completely disrupted. An unbelievable event happened, making this place the focus of international media attention. This event revolves around an extremely strange creature. No one has been able to provide an explanation for this creature. Its appearance challenged all existing boundaries of scientific knowledge. A storm of debate and speculation immediately arose. Mysteries still remain to this day. This creature has been called Aliosenka by researchers, and it is considered the body of a mysterious person from another planet. The version of Aliosenka, the mysterious alien baby in Russia, is completely real. Let's find out in today's video. That was perhaps the most memorable summer for the people of Kalinov village. In the summer of 1996, the story begins with Tamara Prost-Virin. She is a relatively eccentric woman, 74 years old. Normally, no villagers come into contact with her. She even had a history of being diagnosed with mental illness at that time. Of course, people with such a semi-conscious illness would be shunned. One day, Tamara Prost-Virin ran away from home and went into the forest. Her purpose on this trip was very simple. Tamara Prost-Virin simply wanted to draw water from the well at the edge of the forest. It was something she had done countless times before, so naturally no one cared about it. But it seems this trip will be different from previous trips. That evening, as Tamara Prost-Virin approached the familiar well, she heard sounds like the faint cry of a child. At this time, Tamara may have regained consciousness. After a while of searching, she actually found the source of the sounds she heard in a small clearing. It was indeed a baby, but it was no ordinary baby. It is a creature completely unlike what we usually know about a newborn baby. The creature was very small and was actually the size of a newborn baby, but it possessed strange dark gray skin. Its eyes also seemed to be very different from normal eyes. If a normal person saw this creature, they would probably be extremely scared. But Tamara is not an ordinary person. She brought the creature into her home with the intention of caring for it. The semi-conscious state of a mentally disturbed patient caused Tamara to view the newly found creature as a normal newborn abandoned in the forest. She didn't notice any difference. Tamara did something even crazier, which was to name it. She called the creature she found in the forest that night Alenka, and since then, the people of the village of Kalinov, near the city of Kim, Russia, have witnessed a strange sight. The retired woman, Tamara, carries something wrapped in a blanket and talks to it every day. A local resident who witnessed this said, "She told us that it was her child." The child's name is Aliosenka, also known as Alex. However, she didn't let us see the child, so we thought she had a problem with her nerves. Maybe she was talking to a toy, but thought it was her son. Tamara's son is in prison for theft, so he doesn't know anything about what's going on with his mother. And the strange creature replaced the son, becoming Tamara's little Alex. Tamara Ivan Rutina, daughter-in-law of Tamara Prost-Virin, was probably the first person to see that strange creature wrapped in a blanket. As soon as she got home that night, she called her daughter-in-law and told her about finding a child in the forest. The daughter-in-law didn't care much at that time because she always thought Tamara Prost-Virin was unusual. Ivan Rutina came to visit and saw with her own eyes what was in the blanket. She was shocked. The creature did not look like a human at all. Extreme fear caused shrill screams to erupt that could not be contained. Ivan Rutina saw that the child's mouth looked like a small tube with a red tongue and two discolored teeth. Despite its childlike size, the creature had very striking features. A brown head, and its body is gray. It has eyelids and no genitals. The length of this creature is about 20 to 25 centimeters. Its head resembles an onion with protruding eyes. Its eyes were wild and soulless, like the eyes of an old tabby cat. Those eyes seem to glow in the dark. Its fingers are also unusually long. Mrs. Prostviren's daughter-in-law recalled that her mother-in-law often fed the baby cheese and condensed milk. Ivan Rutina also did not report this strange incident to the authorities because he did not want to disobey his mother-in-law, despite the fact that she was not normal. Because Tamara Prostviren was sick, she did not want to leave her child at all. And this creature, although not a real child, perhaps can still make Tamara Prostviren less nostalgic for her son, who is in prison. Even Rutina said, "When I entered that room, I was shocked. Although it has an extremely strange shape, it is still alive." Curiosity made the neighbors want to see the strange creature with their own eyes. They lurked to watch Tamara Prostviren take care of the child through the window. They saw her devotion to that strange creature. Not only that, she also wrapped it in a blanket, took it for a walk, and introduced it to everyone that it was her child. Although the blanket is always covered, even on hot days, some witnesses can still catch a glimpse of this creature. Since then, this creature has been nicknamed the Little Man of the Needle. Many locals believe that this baby is an alien who accidentally fell to Earth. Local people believe that Tamara Prostviren's schizophrenia has become worse than ever as she continues to do strange actions. They think she has completely lost her sanity. They were scared when there was a weirdo walking around in the area where they lived and talking to a toy wrapped in a blanket. She even kept claiming that it was her son. What will this unusual person cause? One day, Tamara Prostviren banged on her neighbor's door in panic. It turns out she wanted to ask for medicine for her strange child. Of course, no one gave her medicine. They thought she had gone crazy and immediately notified the authorities. A few months after starting to raise Senka, Prostviren was hospitalized for treatment of schizophrenia at the local intensive care clinic. She was diagnosed with a series of different mental disorders. Viren's hospitalization completely changed Senka's fate. She firmly refused because she thought the baby would die if not taken care of carefully, but no one believed her. Many times, Prostviren cried and begged the clinic staff to let him out of there to return to his child. However, will anyone believe the words of a 74-year-old woman diagnosed with schizophrenia? They consider it a delusion and a common manifestation of a patient with neurological problems. Therefore, all of Prostviren's prayers were just like a breeze. No one paid attention to her suffering. During Prostviren's treatment at the clinic, Senka died of starvation because no one cared for him. When people came into contact with Senka, they discovered that it was already a soulless corpse. The death of that strange creature was discovered by Prostviren's relatives. They contacted the authorities to find a solution. A friend of Prostviren took Senka's body, cleaned it with alcohol and dried it, making it look like a mummy, and handed it over to police officer Vladimir Bin to investigate the truth. Bin covered it with a sheet of blanket and carefully placed the creature's body in the refrigerator. He thought that perhaps only specialized scientific researchers could solve this, not interested in the strange creature, and asked him to give up on this silly investigation. Bin decided to continue on his own. Sometime later, Vadim Chuk, a researcher and analyst of anomalies, flew from the capital Moscow to the village of Kov to investigate the strange body. Conflicting investigation reports about Senka have been released. Vadim Chuk was also surprised when the analysis results showed that it was not human. On the way back to the motel from the laboratory, Vadim's associates experienced strange events. Faint lights appeared in the sky. There was one thing they were sure of, that it wasn't the stars. Is Senka really an extraterrestrial being? Meanwhile, a local doctor confirmed that it was a child with serious birth defects. There is no DNA sample available in the laboratory that corresponds to the genetic sample of the alien organism. Stories about strange creatures appearing in a remote land in Russia became popular soon after. In fact, the Japanese media was very interested in this strange event. They looked at the appearance as well as conducted thorough assessments of Senka and guessed that this creature would be the link connecting human understanding with mysterious forces outside the Earth. A Japanese television crew went to Russia to meticulously record the incident. They interviewed living witnesses who were locals around Tamara Prost-Viren's house, and of course, they also wanted to meet directly with the person who cared for Ausenka. Police then gave the body of this mysterious creature to a UFO research organization called Star Academy, and they have not returned Ausenka since then. That's why no one has seen Ausenka anymore. There are many scientists and organizations that have been fascinated by theories about people coming from some distant planet beyond our Earth. Some people think that it is simply a fetus that has been formed with serious defects and is thrown away. But a famous Russian scientist does not believe that things are as simple as that. Wanting to find out the nature of the strange creature named Ausenka, he examined the cloth that Tamara used to wrap Joska in the hope of finding some clue that these were strange DNA samples that no other creature possessed. They were not humans, and everything once again reached a dead end. Boris Zolotov believed that the scientists in contact with Ausenka had kept it a secret. Did they discover terrible mysteries and didn't want anyone to discover them? Or did UFOs really appear and take their people away right before the scientists' eyes? Boris Zolotov refused subsequent interviews and revealed no further information about Ausenka. And then, strange events began to happen soon after. These events have turned the originally peaceful land of Kalinov into a dark place with a series of mysterious and coincidental events. Ms. Prost-Viren died in 1999 after being hit by a truck in the middle of the night. Locals recalled that before being hit by a car, she was dancing on the highway. Most of the people who saw Ausenka directly have passed away. Researcher Vadim Chenbrov is strangely paralyzed from the waist down. The disease became more serious, causing him to pass away. Strangely coincidental events have raised a series of suspicions. Therefore, rumors have emerged that the alien Ausenka carries a deadly curse, causing anyone who comes into contact with it to die or encounter misfortune. In Kalinov, people still remember the gloomy fate of Ausenka and other related people. That's why very few people here name their children Alex. Is it true that even a scientist like Boris Zolotov is afraid of the curses related to Ausenka? Even though he disappeared, does Ausenka still possess the ability to make those involved suffer punishment? This is absurd. A few years after Ausenka's incident was widely reported in the mass media, the village of Kalinov became a destination for UFO enthusiasts and theories related to aliens. People from all over the world come to visit this place. Perhaps they always want to see with their own eyes an unusual creature called an alien. They want to discover the mystery of other lives coexisting on this Earth. An investigation team called Cosmo All-Spacious went on an exploratory trip to the village of Kalinov in 2002. They listened to local legends in the hope of finding some clues. Although the information about the aliens they expected did not appear much, a folk tale that seemed to be related to Ausenka was revealed. It's an interesting legend about a mysterious dwarf race. Accordingly, these dwarfs live in the forest right below where Tamara discovered Ausenka. This team visited the site again in 2015 and erected a small statue of Ausenka here. But until now, no one knows whether Ausenka is really an alien creature or a human from the dwarf race in Kalinov. Legends about dwarfs not only exist in Russia, but also appear in many other civilizations around the world. According to experts in historical and archaeological research, it is not natural that all of these myths suddenly became valuable. Besides, beneath the Earth's surface, there are many unexplored cave systems. Exploration estimates that less than 1% of known cave systems have been mapped. This means that of the known cave systems, 99% of the systems themselves have never been charted or explored. It also means that the rest of the Earth is still a mystery, just like the legends about the dwarves are still covered with a mysterious veil that no one has confirmed. Do they really exist? If we want to find out the secret of Ausenka's origin, perhaps we need the intervention of modern science. The question here is, who is keeping the body of the small creature named Ausenka? Many people believe that it is hidden in mysterious Russian military scientific facilities for research purposes.